Okay, so the Eagles are just days away from their playoff rematch with the Buccaneers, which means Jalen Hurts and the offense are once again tasked with facing a tough Todd Bowles defense that likes to blitz in a variety of ways. But despite struggling with this in the past, it seems like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are ready for it this time, as both Hurts and Nick Sirianni expressed confidence that they'll be able to beat it this time around. Meanwhile, the Eagles just gave some big injury updates, and several key players are very much in danger of missing the matchup with Tampa, so that means some other guys are going to have to step up. None more perhaps than wide receiver Jahan Dotson, and not only did he say that he's ready to do that, but he also kind of sent a very confident message ahead of this matchup. So we're going to talk about that and all the other latest Eagles news starting right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And man, this week is going by fast as the Birds will face the Tampa Bay Bucs in just 3 days down in Florida at 1 p.m. and will be a very familiar matchup for both sides, as these teams have played a lot in recent memory, as this is going to be their 5th matchup in the past 4 seasons, and just last year they played each other twice. So safe to say that these teams know each other pretty well, but that doesn't mean that there aren't differences with each matchup, and Jalen Hurts echoed that same thing in a press conference on Wednesday, while he also emphasized the importance of just staying focused and playing good football.
Well, I think it's been different. It's been different every time we've played them. Different time of the year, different moment, different offense, different approach, philosophy, if you will. And so I got a ton of respect for him. Coach Todd Bowles, and what he does, he creates a lot of great opportunities for his defense and his team, and they're a really good offense as well. So, we just gotta come and execute, play clean football. Gotta come and execute and play clean football versus a team like that.
It certainly does help that the Eagles have just seen this team so many times in the past few years, but Hurts is still 100% correct in saying that they gotta stay focused and play good and most importantly clean football against the Bucs and their aggressive opportunistic defense. Obviously, the Eagles and Hurts specifically have struggled with turning the ball over early in this season, and they can't expect to keep doing that and win games at the same time, so they definitely do gotta clean that up against a very good Bucs defense. But it's not just their defense that poses a real threat, as their offense is very, very good too when they get it going, which they did against the Eagles defense in the playoffs last year, so safe to say they're going to have a much better performance this time around defensively under new leadership from Vic Fangio, and veteran Brandon Graham knows that, as he recently talked about the Bucs offense and the challenges that they present and what they're going to have to do well defensively this week.
You got to make sure that you stop the run, number one. And Baker's playing ball. I mean, he can beat you. We got to make sure we stop their receivers because they got a good bunch. Godwin, Mike Evans for sure. They still playing good ball, and we got to make sure that we get them up front as far as, we got to make sure we win our one-on-ones and get to Baker because they do got a good offense.
It's no doubt that the Bucs offense has a lot of weapons that the Eagles are going to have to do their best to slow down, but BG is right in saying that they just got to stop the run and get pressure on Baker, as last week we saw the key to the Eagles' defensive turnaround was the defensive line getting on track, as Jalen Carter and those guys dominated the line of scrimmage in the Saints game, both against the run and the pass, and they really just shut down the Saints offense as a whole. Now, this week they face a Bucs offense that, despite having firepower, did struggle last week to put up points and also protect the quarterback, as Baker Mayfield was sacked 7 times by the Broncos. So one of the keys to this game will be whether the Eagles can replicate that or not, and if Jalen Carter can play how he did last week while the rest of the guys also continue to trend upwards and get pressure on the QB while also stopping the run, then it could definitely be a very long day for the Bucs offense and a very successful day for the Eagles defense. For the Eagles offense, though, this game does have the potential to be a very challenging one for a few reasons, with one of those reasons being that Jalen Hurts and the Birds have had trouble dealing with all the different blitzes Todd Bowles and the Bucs defense throws at them in the past. I mean, particularly in the last game they faced each other, which of course was the playoff game last year, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense really had no answers for the blitzes the Buccaneers were bringing, so safe to say they got to be much better this time around, and head coach Nick Sirianni is confident that they will be, as he had this to say about going up against the Bucs blitzes when asked about it.
We've worked really hard at this, obviously, for the past year, and we've done a good job so far. But you're only as good as your next game. So excited about the challenge. I know Jalen's really played well against the blitz these last couple games, and he's worked his butt off on it. And just excited about the challenge, but we know there's going to be challenges against Todd Bowles' coach defense. So, again, we've done a nice job so far, but you're only as good as your next game.
I think it's safe to say that the Eagles are far better equipped to handle Bucs blitzes than they were last time around. I mean, like Nick said, they've worked really, really hard to get better at it over this past year, and I also think it's clear that based on what we've seen this season, that the hard work has paid off. I mean, last year, the main issue against the blitz was that the offense provided no answers against it, and Jalen Hurts just really had nowhere to go with the football when teams did send pressure. But this year, that's completely different, as Kellen Moore has come in and made huge changes to the offense, and now here we are just a few weeks into the season, and Jalen Hurts has been incredible against the blitz so far, so I would expect that to continue this week, as I'm super, super confident that he'll be able to handle the different looks Bowles throws at him, and Jalen seems confident too, as he said that he thinks he's much better prepared to handle the Bucs blitzes in a press conference on Wednesday.
I'm just excited for another opportunity to play this week. It's a great opponent, a great challenge. We just want to go out there and give our best.
You feel like you're in a better position to handle those this year?
Yeah, I think I'm wiser, I'm older, more seasoned in some areas, and I think that helps us. And the different things that I've learned, with the new staff.
It certainly seems like Hurts, Sirianni, and the Eagles are very confident in their abilities to handle the Bucs blitzes this week. But what do you guys think? I mean, are you worried at all about Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense going into this matchup against a tough Bucs defense? You can let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. I mean, I'm personally not worried about the Bucs blitzes. I think the Eagles are going to handle that well this week, but the thing I am worried about is the Eagles injury situation, as we just got some huge updates on that as well. And don't worry, we're going to get into that and so much more in just a minute here, but real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this coming throughout the rest of this entire season, then make sure you subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. I think that's a win-win for the both of us, because not only do I get more people consistently watching these videos, but you don't miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this. So again, subscribe, turn on notifications, and also drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 800 likes on this video. And now, with all that being said, let's get back into the video. So the Eagles released their first injury report ahead of their matchup with the Bucs on Wednesday, and it wasn't great. Now, keep in mind that the Birds will release another injury report probably just hours after this video is uploaded, so these things could probably change, and I'll make sure to cover that report in my video tomorrow. But let's start off with the good news from Wednesday's report, which is that star cornerback Darius Slay was listed as a full participant after being injured at the end of the Saints game and missing the end. So that's definitely a good sign, and it doesn't seem like he's at risk of missing any time. And then I also guess something that was decent to see was that Mekhi Becton was listed as limited after missing most of the Saints game with a finger injury. Obviously, you'd like to see him be a full participant, but it's certainly better than him being out of practice, and it seems like he could at least be trending in the right direction. But after that, things were mostly bad, as star guard Landon Dickerson was listed as limited with a wrist issue, so make that another big time player for the Eagles to just randomly pop up on the injury report during the week after being fine during the game. So hopefully this injury isn't serious. I do think it's probably a good sign that he was limited and not out, so hopefully he'll be good to go for Sunday. And then moving on, the Birds had 3 crucial players miss practice, as Lane Johnson was out as he's still in concussion protocol. Same goes for DeVonta Smith, as he was also listed as out, which, by the way, side note, Saints defensive tackle Christian Boyd was just fined $4,600 for his late hit on Smitty that injured him. But while it's good that he was fined eventually, I honestly feel like this is nowhere close to enough, as guys are fined a lot more for a lot less very frequently. So I still feel like he's kind of getting off the hook a little bit, but I mean, at least he was fine in general. But then getting back to the injury report, the other star receiver, A.J. Brown, was also out as he continues to deal with a hamstring issue. So it seems like all 3 of these guys are at serious risk of missing the game on Sunday. And if they did, that would mean that the Eagles would be down their 2 top wide receivers and targets for the matchup with Tampa. And I mean, if we're being honest, it seems like that's what's going to happen. So as much as it really sucks, the Eagles are going to have to rely on getting production from some other guys they have at the receiver position, with the main one being the newcomer Jahan Dotson, who really has yet to make an impact in terms of catching the ball so far in 3 games with Philly, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have the ability to, as we've seen him be productive before with the Commanders and also in college with Penn State. And he's someone who has a lot of ability, and head coach Nick Sirianni recognizes that, as he praised Dotson's skill set and expressed confidence in him on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think he's got great hands. I think that's when you go back and even look at when we look at all our stuff, everything, you watch all the stuff, you go back and look at your notes of what you thought of him coming out, and I think that's the thing I wrote the most is like, man, he catches everything, and then he's just got this great ability to get in and out of breaks. I think DeVonta has this great ability to get in and out of breaks, and they remind me of each other as far as at the top of the route. of how they get out of how they can transition from full speed back down the stem or changing directions. And so those are the things that really pop up, and as I see with Jahan, just this unbelievable ability to catch the ball wherever it is, and we've seen that in practice, and then also just the shiftiness.
It's certainly great to hear Sirianni say all those positive things about Dotson, but this obviously means nothing unless he can actually produce and show some of that ability on the field on Sunday. And while I can give him a bit of a pass for not doing much in the first 3 weeks in terms of catching the ball just because he's new to the team obviously and still learning, while he also wasn't being relied upon super heavily, I'm expecting to see more out of him this week, just considering that he'll most likely be the wide receiver 1 heading into the matchup. And for Dotson, this is his big opportunity to show what he can do and really have a great performance, and he seems ready for it, as he sent a message that he's ready to prove himself in this bigger opportunity.
How comfortable are you in being the guy this week?
Extremely comfortable. That just is a test of the work that I put in every single day. Trying to come out here and get better and make sure that I'm prepared for the moment, because I don't know when my moment can be or will be, but making sure when I'm in that moment I'm ready for it, because honestly, when you get that moment, no one really cares if you're ready for it or not. You just better be ready for it. So I'm making sure that I'm ready for it. I know I am, and I can't wait for it.
Is this the opportunity that you've been waiting for since you got traded here?
I mean, it's kind of the opportunity I've been waiting for ever since I got in the NFL. Just to be able to be out there on Sundays and showcase my talent and be able to make plays for a football team. That's the goal at the end of the day, help the team win and make plays. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I've been capable of doing, and I'm just going to show that.
It certainly sounds like Dotson is ready to take full advantage of this opportunity that he's most likely going to have on Sunday, and we'll see what he's able to do with it. Again, obviously, he hasn't done much so far in terms of catching the ball, but he also hasn't had many opportunities, and the skill and talent is definitely there for Dotson. I mean, like Nick said, he has great hands and good shiftiness and just a great ability to get in and out of breaks, and we've obviously seen him make big plays in this league before, so hopefully he puts his nice skill set on display and he has a big game. But you guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. What are you expecting from Jahan Dotson in this game versus the Bucs? And also, while you're at it, again, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any other Eagles coverage or content coming throughout this entire season. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support. It really does help me out a ton. Again, let's see if we can hit 800 likes on this video. And if you want to watch another video going over some Eagles news from earlier in the week, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.